Hello and welcome. I'm Pete The Surfaroo on tour.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Pete The Surfaroo. Just on my way down to Coffs Harbour. Now this is something for all those viewers out there that don't know the history of Australia. Back in the olden days, say around about 30 years ago, when you're travelling from down south, Canberra, Sydney, up towards the Gold Coast, there were no bridges. So what did they have? Ferries. Check this out behind me. This is one of the original ferries they had back then to take all the cars and caravans jetting up to the Gold Coast. What a way to go. Now, it took quite a while because the roads were pretty small, not this big traffic that's going here all the time now, and it took ages to get up there. You'd stop off 2 or 3 times before you get there from Sydney to the Gold Coast. Now, also way behind me, we've got the sugarcane barge. Check this boat out, it is massive. Now, before we had those bridges, the trains going across the bridges to carry all the sugar from up north down here to Macleay to the sugar mills, we had this big sugar barge. Now this carried all the sugar down here to the mills to get refined. I think I liked it better back in the olden days, catching the barge, the ferries, and of course taking your time to get across the water to see the views. Everything nowadays is such a rush, guys. Slow down, relax, enjoy. Pete The Surfaroo showing you how to do it, guys. Check it out, we're on the way to Coffs Harbour. Yeah. And welcome back to Pete The Surfaroo. I've got John here from the Clog Barn. How are you, mate?
I'm very well.
Now, I've just left the Gold Coast, arrived here at Coffs Harbour, about a 4-hour drive, and what a place to pull up. Now, there's so many things here to do. There's restaurants here, you can get food, accommodation. Tell us a bit about your venue here.
Firstly, this was a caravan park. My father came from Muswellbrook in the Hunter Valley. He, in 1983, came here to retire. And he couldn't sit still. He was running this caravan park and there wasn't enough for him to do, so he started creating models for the model village, a Dutch themed model village. And then a few months after that we came across these clog making machines that had been brought to Australia in 1955. So we bought those, put them in storage for 12 months, and then we built the building itself, the Clog Barn, to put the machines in.
Yeah.
The rest basically is history.
Wow. Now you've got so many things. You've got actual demonstration when people actually come into the shop and go through the whole thing. I was there for it. It's very educating because I didn't know how these shoes were made. And of course, also later on we're going to meet the man behind it all who actually makes the houses and everything.
Yep.
Now I thought they would like just bought houses put on the property, but he actually builds these things.
Everything.
And I mean, it is all handmade. I can't believe how long he takes. He was telling me it takes like months and months and months just to build one house.
It does. He can be in there for, well, 3 to 6 months with most models.
Wow.
That he produces. It depends on the sizing, of course, and the detail.
Yep.
And things have changed over the years. We can use more computer stuff now. We use Google Maps to get some really good visions on the front.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's becoming really interesting.
It's amazing stuff.
Okay.
Now just go through us how the actual shoe is made in the demonstration. Like you start, you set the machines up,
Yep.
you get a block of wood,
Yep.
and away we go.
Yeah, we use a piece of locally grown poplar. It's a poplar tree that was grown in the Kempsey and Grafton areas in the 50s and 60s. They don't use it to make matches anymore, so that material is basically standing there dying or rotting away now, so we've got a supply of that.
Yeah.
And the timber has to be green, so it has to be fresh. So we start with 310mm long block by 110 by 110.
Yep.
We run that in a machine, it cuts the external shape, and then we move from the external machine to the internal machine, and we carve the inside of the shoe out, and then we just do some final trimming with a jigsaw and a what's known as a hook blade. We use the hook blade to do the final, and we end up with something that looks a little bit like that, all going well.
Now in the old days, it was all the chisel work.
Yeah.
And nowadays, because all this computer and all that sort of stuff, the motor engines have taken over.
We can make that in about 5 minutes, and to make a pair of clogs in Europe would be 4 to 5 hours. So,
wow, that's amazing stuff.
It's a lot of time, so it just has to speed up the process. And those machines were made about 1942, during the start of World War II, so they're pretty cruel on machines.
So, do a lot of people still wear these shoes? Like, are they outdated, or are they good for your feet?
They're good for your feet. They've got a lot of support on the inside of the shoe. There's an arch in the clog, so they do support your feet. They keep your feet warm and dry. But the numbers of people that wear them today is probably very, very small. Some people that have them in the garden will use them in the garden at home, but the majority of people, they're basically, in Europe they're still worn quite a lot.
Yep.
But in Australia there'll be probably there's probably a few hundred people that wear them on a regular basis. So.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I reckon, guys, let's go down to the workshop and check out this guy, how he actually makes all this stuff. Your mind's going to be blown when you see how intricate all this stuff is, and it's so hard to make, and he does it all himself, handmade. Let's go down and have a look down there.
Sounds great.
That's good. Here with Tom, mate. How are you?
Not bad.
Now, Tom, John's father.
Yes.
This is the workshop. This is where it all happens. Now, tell us a bit about how long you've been doing this for, to build up all those houses. How many houses are out there?
Oh, there's over 100 there.
Over 100 houses. That is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the first few original ones, you actually built that block by block.
Yes. So the original buildings in the first 10 years, all the tiles were made because you can't buy them.
Yeah.
And all the bricks was made. I had to make the mold to make the brick. And then I had to, with fiberglass, and the colouring, we had to do all those things ourselves. And we still use a lot of the old things, but of course today we do things a little bit different.
So back in those days, how long did it actually take to build a house?
Well, there's one there that took 6 months.
6 months to build one house, guys. That is insane.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, in the beginning, I wasn't working on it all the time because we were doing the maintenance in the park.
Yeah.
And but lately, that's all I've been doing for the last 5 or 6 years, just the models. And some of the models take about 2 to 3 months, and other models take longer, depends how much time I spent on them, of course. But I can spend all day and you can't see where I've been.
Wow, that's amazing. And a lot of the inspiration comes from actual photos,
yes,
or looking up on the internet of the building itself, and you just copy it. Behind me here you've got the architectural part of it where you actually draw and map it all up, and then you take it from there.
Make the whole model out of cardboard, basically.
Yes.
I sketched it all out, as you have here.
Now we're looking at the two brickworks here. One is the old one where you actually put brick by brick,
yes,
and beside it we've got the new version. Now the new version, just tell us quickly how you did the new version to make it easier for yourself, and of course the public out there, when they're looking at the buildings, they can't really tell the difference.
People don't realize until you tell them.
Yes.
I made up a little gadget to groove it in.
Have a look at this, the lines and everything with the ruler, with the soldering iron, and eventually it looks like some bricks.
Yeah, you can't really see the difference. You have to really get close to it.
Finally, we've got trains in there as well going through all these buildings. These trains I thought were just bought at a shop or something, but you actually build these trains, and the trains are made out of perspex.
Yeah, they're all made perfect. Of course, we use the body of an original train.
Yeah.
Because you can't make them yourself, but you can't buy those models because I have to make them.
We're looking at the clog train now, and that's all made by you. So the clogs are made here, and of course the whole everything here is made here on premises.
Yes.
Amazing stuff. Well, Tom, mate, I know you're busy because you got your next big one coming up. Well, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Okay.
I know you're busy in your little workshop here. This is his little nest. He loves it, and that's what it's all about here in Australia. doing stuff that you like to do and enjoy it, because life is so short, you got to make the most of it. Pete the Surfaroo here in Coffs Harbour. Tom, mate, I'll shake your hand again.
Yeah.
Great work
Yeah.
at the Clog Barn here. Pete the Surfaroo going off, yeah. Hey guys, welcome to Pete the Surfaroo. I've just arrived Coffs Harbour. I'm on Mutton Island here. Now, no birds guys, but I'm going to enjoy myself anyway. I'm only here for a few days. Got lots of stuff happening here at Coffs Harbour. Check out the views. So many things to do. Great location again. Pete the Surfaroo, Coffs Harbour. Stay with me. Check it all out.
Hi Pete, I'm Liz and I'm from England.
Hi Pete, I'm Baz. I'm from England as well.
We're on a 3-month tour. We've taken 3 months off work and we are currently in Mutton Bird Island near Coffs Harbour.
Yeah, enjoying the nature reserve here. So we're just here for one night and we thought we'd come up and take a look.
Hi Pete!
Hi Pete!
My name is Angelina, I'm from France and my friend is Seika, she's from Japan.
Yes. Hi Peter! 私は聖華です。日本人です。今はブルーベリーファームでブルーベリーのピッキングをしています。
Salut Pete, je m'appelle Angelina, je viens de France et je suis en Australie à Coffs Harbour pour faire de la cueillette de myrtilles avec Seika.
Hi Peter! 私は聖華です。日本人です。ブルーベリーのピッキングしています。コフスハーバーに来て1ヶ月です。
Welcome back to Pete the Surfaroo. I'm here with Terry the man. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Really good. Now tell me your role of this whole park. You've only taken it over a year ago and it's looking great and we've got lots of things happening in the future.
Yeah, well, I'm the managing director, so my role is to develop the park and to ensure that it keeps going and to build it up. We've taken it on a whole new direction now, so well, it's not a new direction, it's actually the original direction which we've taken it back to.
And now you've been involved with marine life for quite a while, your background?
No, I haven't actually. My background with the park is that my uncle actually, Heck, Goodall actually set the park up back in 1968, I think it was. They bought the land and then they built the pools and opened it to the public on Boxing Day 1970. So we're coming up to our 50th anniversary next year, which is pretty incredible given that it's been under the one ownership and of the shareholding of 50 shareholders for that length of time, and still going strong.
Well, that's great. Lots of history here. It's all going off here at Coffs Harbour. Now, just tell us briefly, we did talk about it yesterday on the show, about your new renovations here, which is going to up it again for the park.
Yeah, look, the park was originally set up as a wildlife sanctuary and rescue and rehabilitation operation, and that's how it was originally set up and designed. And then, of course, as time went on, it moved into we got some rescue dolphins, and then they were retained here by New South Wales Parks because they were so badly damaged when they were got, and of course then dolphins do what dolphins do, and they were sort of performing and doing all of their things that they do out in the wild, and the guests took a fancy to that, and of course that then became an income stream to ensure that the rest of the rescue and rehabilitation work continued. But that became a larger part of the organisation or the park operations, and what we're doing now is taking it back to its original being, which is a rescue rehabilitation centre, and hopefully getting a wildlife hospital built out the back.
Oh, that's great. So again, guys out there watching, don't forget, if you do come visit this park, donations are critical here because we want that hospital to save our wildlife out there. Terry, it's a pleasure speaking to you, mate. Good luck with the renovations, the new park. It's all on the way here at Coffs Harbour, going off. Pete The Surfaroo.
Yeah.
We're backstage now here at the aquarium park, and we've got Duan and Kieran. Hey guys, how are you?
G'day, how are you? Pete, good man.
Now, this is what it's all about behind the scenes. A lot of people do come to the park to visit, to check out the animals, which is good to socialise and make yourself at peace with animals. But the real part of it is actually the rescue, and we've got a turtle here at the moment. Duan, tell us a bit about the incident with this turtle.
So this turtle came in a couple of days ago, and as you can see, he's got barnacles all over him and big holes in his skin. What we think can happen with these guys, they get a parasite called sporulchid fluke, and one of the life stages of the parasite can actually swim straight through the skin, and often those wounds can then get infected. So what we're doing now is just have a look at his heart. And they all come in roughly the same state. So they're all skinny, they've all got these barnacles on them, so they've been sick a while out there. Now we don't see a lot of plastic ingestion here, so there's something else that's out there that's knocking these guys around. Here with the ultrasound, and we can actually see if there are parasites in the big vessels, so we'll see them on the ultrasound.
Getting into major renovations. Tell us about this behind us.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So, we've been rehabbing, rescuing marine life for the last 30 or 40 years, So the staff have got a huge amount of expertise. The facilities are a little bit dated, so that's one of the big projects at the moment, is updating them. So hopefully in, 3 or 4 months, we've got all the pools ordered. Hopefully in 3 or 4 months, we'll have purpose-built facilities there. And then hopefully in a year or two, we're trying to raise money at the moment to build a wildlife hospital. So we've got a GoFundMe campaign happening at the moment. So check that out, Dolphin Marine Rescue. That's the plan at the moment.
Sounds good. Now, all the animals you rescue, it doesn't limit it just to dolphins and penguins, turtles, heaps of other animals as well?
Yeah, we do predominantly marine, so it tends to be seasonal. So coming into summer, we'll see a lot of sea turtles. That'll be our main species. And then once the water clears up after summer, they tend to go pretty good. And then winter, we'll get the little baby seals in that aren't going so well. Depending on what's happening out there in nature, whether it's, mutton bird season, then that tends to dictate our rehab animals.
Cool. Now, as you know, viewers out there, in a couple of episodes back, I did go up to Bargara up at Bundy, and I got out there with the rangers and we watched all these turtles. About 150 come out of this one hole, and out of 1,000 or so, only 1 or 2 make it.
Yeah, definitely. Sea turtles, they're remarkable. They've got a really cool life cycle. To be there at a nesting emergence like that, it's pretty cool to watch those hatchlings kind of pop up and run down to the surf.
Well, mate, I hope you're all the best with the park here. Guys, if you're down this way at Coffs Harbour, make sure you pop in. We've got 2 locations. You've got the research department and, of course, the tourist department.
That's right, yeah. So Dolphin Marine Conservation Park looks after the dolphins and the seals, and they do educational presentations and that sort of stuff. And Kieran and myself head up the rescue and rehab side of things with the wildlife.
So guys, make sure you pop in, say hello, and of course, leave a donation because it's going to a really good cause. Mate, it's a pleasure speaking to you. Good luck with your new park. Pete The Surfaroo here at Coffs Harbour. It's going off, yeah. Now this is really exceptional here to be face to face with a real seal, endangered species. Tiga, tell me about Storm here, the celebrity of the park.
So Storm was born here as part of the breeding program. Being an endangered species, there's only about 8,500 adults left in the wild.
Wow.
And there's only about 25 held in human care, and we have actually the largest breeding colony with over 9 here.
Gee. Now Storm is like a baby. How old's Storm?
Storm is 2.5 years old.
And how long do they normally live for?
In the wild are typically about 15 years, but in a facility like ourselves, they can live up to 30.
Wow, and it's amazing because this park, because it's for the tourists to see the animals, but the real part of it is to save these creatures when something goes wrong or they've got infections.
Yes, so we have a rescue and rehab facility in the park. So we look after a range of animals, including the seals, dolphins, also marine animals and birds. And we actually release them out into the wild as well. Isn't that right, Storm? Yeah.
And where can we find these seals? All around Australia, or is this specific parts of Australia?
These guys are found typically down near the Great Australian Bight area, but we do get the New Zealand fur seals will often pop up just along the Coffs Coast here.
Wow, that's amazing stuff. I see Storm's getting a bit tired now. He's had a big day here today. Lots of people, lots of pats, and of course I think Storm wants to get it back in the water and have a bit of peace and quiet.
Have a little swim, yeah. Excellent.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that little segment in nature here, right up front here with these amazing seals. Pete The Surfaroo, it's going off. Yeah. That's great. Thanks a lot for that. Excellent. Yay. Thank you.
Thank you. What sort of fish is that? That was a mullet. That was a mullet. Thank you.
Until next time, Pete The Surfaroo World Tour going off. Yeah.